This is Rob Temple for Boxing Social. Delighted as always to be joined by Mr. Al Siesta. We're here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. How are you, Al?
I'm very well, man, thank you. Shall I ask pianist to play some Lovers Hour R&B whilst I'm being interviewed? Because he's playing Billie Jean not that well. What do you think?
I don't know, we'll probably leave him to it because I've been trying to get hold of you for an interview for 3 days now, but you seem to be speaking to every other YouTuber apart from me.
Come on, man. I don't even know what to say to you. You're number one always, you know this. YouTuber? Since when you become a YouTuber?
Well, somebody told me, Vidal Riley told me that because I put videos on YouTube, I'm essentially a YouTuber.
Vidal Riley, is that a new fashion?
Vidal Riley is unbeaten cruiserweight who also trains KSI. So there we are. But anyway, why have you been avoiding me? You've been doing interviews with everybody else apart from me. Remember who gave you your first interview in this country, Mr. Siesta?
Are you calling me a whore?
No.
No, man. You know, I've just been really busy doing some medicals and all that paperwork, man. You're always my number one, trust me.
Thank you very much. So, we're here in Saudi Arabia. It seems still a little bit surreal that we're actually here for the Joshua Ruiz fight. Talk to me about the fight. I know you've got Marius Wach on the card, but we'll come on to that slightly later on. Joshua Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. Talk to me.
Joshua Ruiz in Saudi Arabia, we really need Anthony Joshua to beat Ruiz. That's all I want to say. I mean, this is a really hard ask. Nobody fancies Anthony Joshua apart from myself and Eddie Hearn. No, really, no, I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying, man. British boxing relies on Anthony Joshua. He is our provider. He is providing for my children, for all boxing professionals in this country who works with Matchroom. Really appreciate what I'm saying. So we're really backing Anthony Joshua. Come on, my man.
Seems to be the feeling around fight week this week. Everybody I speak to seems to really want Anthony Joshua to win. But in my opinion, from my experience of speaking to people, seems like more people are picking Andy Ruiz over Anthony Joshua than vice versa. Does that surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me at all. Ruiz is very fast, has great ring IQ, great, fantastic fights, and Mexican, can take a punch. Everything basically goes against Anthony Joshua, apart from our wish. We really need him to win, man, and that's what makes it so wonderful. I think Anthony Joshua can genuinely do it.
Seems like a lot of pressure on Anthony Joshua, even more so in a different way than the first fight. The first fight was him coming to America, but it was more of a pressure to make a statement rather than a pressure to kind of win or bust, which is what a lot of people are looking at this fight. How do you think that's going to affect him on fight night?
I think it's gone beyond that point when he has to worry on being nervous or have this pressure situation. He just knows this is make or break in this situation. I think if he's got good neurolinguistic programmists in the team, I think they already explained him and he knows he's within the piece. He knows what he has to do in the ring. Do you know what I mean? I reckon. If they don't have one, they can give me a call very quickly.
A lot of people seem to suggest that a lot of people are looking at Anthony Joshua's physique and kind of suggesting that his way to win this fight is going to be from the outside. Do you agree with that?
I fully agree. He should not let Andy Ruiz come close. I mean, if he can. Just a stiff, good jab, good combinations, good movement. I think he is lighter for the reason because he relies on some more lateral movement in general, movement around the ring. He knows he cannot get any scruffy business there at all because that's where Ruiz is at his best, is in close-up exchanges and so on and so forth, counters, and I call them right after the attack, you know what I mean, just coming in. So Joshua, it won't be a boring fight, as people say. No, it will not be. It will be somebody going in that fight. So I'm hoping that's Andy Ruiz, you know? You want me to say something more, yeah?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know when to take the microphone back because you like to talk more than I do. Andy Ruiz, more of the same from him? Is that got to be the way for him, or do you think he needs to adjust to adjustments that people seem to think Anthony Joshua is going to make?
I think he will be much more confident. He took best Joshua shots. He has great cranial resistance, I call it. He's got no fear in him. He's a champion. He's very confident. I'm just saying, it's everything against Joshua in this fight. Everything. How incredible. Before that first fight, everything was against Ruiz. He was nobody. Now just Joshua is a massive underdog. And I love that. I like backing underdog up, you know? So apart from that, am I scared of Ruiz? Yes, I do. Do I think he can win? Yes, he definitely can win. Is a favorite in this fight? 150% he's favorite in this fight. So there you go. I mean, we're just gonna pray and hope for the miracle to happen, you know.
Spoke to Andy Ruiz yesterday. He said that he's worried about the judges. We saw very recently some high-profile situations involving, Callum Smith and John Ryder is probably the standout example. Do you think Andy Ruiz has got a right to be worried about the cards?
Absolutely, he's got rights to be worrying about this. I mean, Andy, if you're hearing me, no, I'm kidding. You're obviously not hearing me, but
he might watch Boxing Social.
He does. You will have to knock Anthony Joshua out if you want it to go your way 100% and be confident, because if it goes to points, to the scorecards, I can't see you winning, my friend. I'll be honest, I can't see him winning. Even if he, I mean, we've seen it all in boxing. This Callum Smith and John Ryder, not the worst example. I've seen it much worse, and I'm telling you, man, he needs to do a clean job. I mean, all Anthony Joshua has to do to be looking good, competent, and just have this rounds in the bag, and then I can believe he'll win the fight. But Ruiz has to stop him.
Of course, I mean, we have seen, of course, worse quote-unquote robberies than Callum Smith versus John Ryder. That's just the most recent high-profile example. I mean, you had Najib Mohammadi against, was it Fedor Chudinov? I was sometimes get confused with Fedor and Dmitry. Fedor's the good one. Sorry. But where was I going with that? Is that? It seems to be something that we're hearing an awful lot throughout this week. Is that not a sad indictment of the sport? That it's kind of an open secret, really, that if Anthony Joshua goes the distance, he's going to win the fight regardless of how the fight happens. Is that not bad for the sport? Is that a sorry representation of boxing?
Refereeing and judging in boxing is the most upsetting, most underdeveloped, incomplete thing ever. It's really dragging behind the sport. The fighting ship is incredible. Our matchmakers, managers, promoters game is spectacular. Refereeing and judging really need to, they need to do something. It's instant replays, electronic scoring, television judges, more judges, I don't know, simultaneous announcements after every round. Something needs to happen for people to be able to latch on what's actually happening. Because I don't like that, oh, this is the score, this is anonymous, and that's what it is. If you deal with it, do you know what I mean? This is very underdeveloped. So it is very upsetting, and I feel really sorry for the fighters who put their life on the line, don't see their families, train day in, day out, then coming out to the ring and getting robbed and potentially not having that earnest. I mean, John Ryder, Callum Smith, classical example. I can't say that Callum lost. I felt it's a draw. And because he's a champion, he slightly underperformed, of course. And John Ryder just climbed out of his skin and just shown incredible resilience, big performance. But overall, that deprived potentially John Ryder from massive payout. He could have been a world champion now, and it's a different ball game. 10 times earnings, 10 times everything. You know what I mean? So yes, this is the upsetting factor, and we are young generation in boxing. We will change that. I promise you. I promise you guys, we will change it. We will change it.
A promise from our Siesta himself. Let's talk about Marius Wach, who you are here with. You explain your role with Marius Wach. As I understand it, you're the matchmaker, you're quote-unquote the agent, you're the go-between for making the fight. How did the fight come about? How did you get involved with Marius Wach? And why did he take the fight against Dillian Whyte?
I am apologizing for immodest statement. I'm one of those few people who can call a fighter directly. I'm talking universally across the world. If you're in Japan, Norway, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, or Panama, I can give you a call and going to say, Hermano, hola, how are you? It's no problem for me. And I'm going to tell you that I want to talk to your manager about the fight, which I'm thinking it will be a good payday. I will not tell you about the purse, but I will ask you if you're ready, if you're prepared to fight, and if you tell me yes, speak to my manager, then I will proceed knowing that I'm not wasting my time. Marius Wach, I know Rafael, his manager, very well. He's a good friend of mine, so we spoke, and initially we were going to fight Bakoli, rematch. Then it was Hughie Fury in Monaco. Then it didn't happen. Then it was Tony Yoka in France, and Tony Yoka didn't fight. And now it's Dillian Whyte. I said to Wach, stay busy in the gym, keep that camp going, and I'll get you a fight. And here we are in Saudi, the best of all.
So he's prepared for the fight?
He is properly prepared. He's a tough man. Wach is a tough man, and I reckon he's going to go to 10 rounds, definitely. And I think Dillian slightly in the false sense of security, comfort zone. Maybe. I don't know. Although he's a very good fighter, Wach is competent.
Considering all of the issues surrounding Dillian Whyte at the minute, was there any reservations from Marius Wach or Marius Wach's team about taking the fight?
Not really, because we all know that probably everyone is juicing. It's not many got caught. I'm only kidding, but you know what I'm saying? You never know, man. Oh, it's a heavyweight division. They could be taking asthmatic medications or whatever it is. God knows what's forbidden now in the list and what's not. I'm not even following it. Do you know what I mean? I can't really see, unless you take in some space cosmic juice and you teleport into stratosphere, how you're becoming dangerous. Yes, you're kind of helping yourself, and I'm not advocating the doping, but, guys, some people getting away with that and some not. Dillian Whyte is a stand-up guy, as far as I know. Where's his B sample, no one knows. But, Marius Wach is the kind of guy, if there's a payday and we are realistic about what doping can do to the fighter. It will not make you extra monster. It just will help you to probably get through the camp, to get some blood circulation. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not advocating anything, but I don't think there's a medication. You would notice if there's a doping. You know what I mean? And I don't think there are some substances that make you superhuman. I don't believe that. There are, but we don't know about them, and they're not used in sport. They probably use in military. Okay, let's stop it. Yeah.
Is that, similar to what we were talking about with judging, though, is that, again, not a bit of a downer on the sport? The fact that I know you're not advocating it, I know you're not directly involved in the decision-making process of taking the fight, of course, but to have the kind of attitude, this is not directed at you, but that, everyone could be doing it. Marius Wach himself, after he boxed Vladimir Klitschko, failed a drugs test. Is that not, again, a sad indictment of where we are as a sport, where it's like, he may have failed, but, they could all be at it?
Massively sad. Let me tell you how it works very quickly. If there's a payday in boxing, the fight gonna happen. Simple as that. If there's a payday, everyone wants to get paid, the fight gonna happen. Doesn't matter. If you're juicing, if you're banned, you're not banned, whatever you do, the fight will happen. So the problem with boxing professionals, all of us, we can't stick to the thing. We've got no principles, really. We don't have any principles. If you're saying you're gonna ban someone for 3 years for doping, stick to it. Stop the appeal system, this and that, or fail, not fail. Fuck it, stop it, that's it. Or don't talk about it, done. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I'm tired from it. That's why I'm really bored even discussing this subject, because we already know it's going to happen. Look at Jarrell Miller's case. 1 minute someone's saying he's the biggest disgrace, and another minute someone wants to sign him. You know what I'm saying? There's no problem. So we're all changing, man. We're all chameleons. We're in this business. So there you go.
Because Marius, you mentioned earlier on that you said that if Marius Wach, you think it's going to go the distance. That implies to me that potentially that would be somewhat of a victory for Marius Wach, or does he have intentions of going in there and actually winning the fight?
He's definitely got serious intentions to beat Dillian Whyte. He's got big team arrived with him. Polish press was all over me, asking me when can we announce. Wach, take it seriously. There's no fights that are coming to lose, you know that, especially at this level, no chance. I'm just kind of professionally would fancy slightly Dillian Whyte.
Somebody else on the card that you know very well, Alexander Povetkin, your countryman, Sasha, returns against Michael Hunter in a fight that a lot of people are picking as, outside the main event, the fight of the night. Who do you give the edge to in that fight?
Let me say something very quickly. Саша, мой богатырь, мой Витязь, я так хочу, чтобы ты вырубил этого Хантера, потому что он нечестный человек. Я просто хочу, чтобы ты сделал работу, Сань. Мы тебя все поддерживаем, и карма, и Господь Бог с тобой, мой дорогой. Я тебя целую. На английский язык перехожу. Yes, now I'm ready. Back talking. I really want Povetkin to beat Hunter, because Hunter has a little O to me in general, on the human level, and I want Povetkin to teach him a lesson. I don't know if he will be able to do that, because Hunter, you are, despite that you've done some dirty business, my friend, you are a good fighter, and I appreciate that. But I will be supporting my compatriot to give you a little lesson, to return you karma, give you that little boomerang back, my friend, yeah? So you understand what's happening on this planet, yeah? But good luck to you anyway.
What's the keys to success in that fight? Alexander Povetkin, somebody else, while we're hovering around the subject, who's also had his issues with anti-doping. He seems to be going and going and going. Obviously, we saw him in the ring last time against Hughie Fury. Showed a little bit of signs of aging in that fight. Does he have to catch Michael Hunter? Can he outbox Michael Hunter? Hunter's fresh. He's coming up from cruiserweight. He has the speed advantage, a youth advantage. How does Povetkin win the fight?
Povetkin very strong man, physically strong, imposing, and I can think he can catch Hunter as well. Once Hunter experiences his power, I think he will have respect. I mean, I do believe Hunter is a favorite in this fight and Alex is an underdog. But again, it's same as Joshua Ruiz. This is exactly the same. I really want Povetkin to win. It doesn't mean that wanting one thing and reality is completely different thing. But Povetkin just needs to do his work. He's got great amateur pedigree. He's got understanding, great boxing knowledge. And I think he has all the capabilities to outbox Hunter and even stop him. And he's been quite active. So I think it slightly equalizes the chances, you know. And I do believe Povetkin can do the job. And he's a genuine heavyweight. And Hunter is a blown-up cruiserweight, although he's shown that he's very competent at the heavyweight. But the way he fought Kuzmin, Povetkin would have dealt with Kuzmin much easier. So we know that Povetkin is prolific compared to Kuzmin. So I'm hoping that it will be good overhand right, lights out, Swedish flat pack.
Final heavyweight bout on the card sees Filip Hrgovic against Eric Molina, former two-time world title challenger, should I say. How much do you know of, I mean, I know that you know plenty of Filip Hrgovic, but potentially for people who haven't seen as much of him as I'm sure you have through your various matchmaking escapades, what can you tell people about Filip Hrgovic? How good is he?
He is very good. He is a Transylvanian, bloodthirsty, Count Dracula machine kind of type of guy. You know, look at him. He's very good heavyweight. He can beat most of the heavyweights on this card now. That's how good he is. Eric Molina, the reason is Eric Molina there, no one wants to fight the guy. He only had handful, I mean, what do you call him? Handful of fights, man, but he's already ready. He can compete with Joshua tomorrow. He's a very competent, strong, heavy punching, physically superior individual. And Molina, I mean, well, you'll see what's going to happen. And it's really hard to match Hrgovic. And they pay big money, they're ready to get people from top 10. So Hrgovic is the real deal. I'm really glad to see Molina as well on the card. He's a nice guy, nice, competent guy, been around, contested for the world title. So that's fantastic bonanza, isn't it? Heavyweight bonanza. That's a great card. I'm really grateful to Matchroom 80 guys who've done a fantastic job. People from Saudi, incredible guys. Thank you for putting this event, making a history for us. And we're all here. We don't need to pinch ourselves. You know, you said it's been surreal. I think we're doing so much work that we deserve this kind of occasion. And our presence here as a thank you from God to us for doing the hard work. I mean, if you can say that. I mean, I'm enjoying myself. I don't need to pinch myself. I know I deserve as a professional to be here. And that's why we're here.
Eric Molina, somebody else who also failed a drugs test.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. We all fail drug tests one day, you know?
I hope I don't get tested. Anyway, you mentioned a good point there about kind of being here in Saudi Arabia. I think surreal is kind of just more so a sense of the fact that we're not in North America, the fact we're not in Europe to watch a fight. I mean, I've not really found this week too dissimilar from any other week. I don't know if you can shed any light on your experience here. I know you've been here before, and I'm sure we're going to be coming back here soon.
In fact, I haven't been here before. This is the first time for me, but I just been to Monaco 3 days ago. It's a very similar experience. It's globalization. We're all uniting. Internet, social media, accessibility, the technology bring us together. We're all becoming one big world, isn't it? That's what our dream is. I mean, not for everyone, but we're all dreaming of this unity. And I'm really glad. I mean, the world is your oyster, and this is 100% we experience that right now. It is our oyster. We're having events here. I'm sure we will be coming back here again. I'm sure. I mean, the people are really keen. People of East, they really appreciate combat sports, and boxing is not exclusion. You know?
Okay, well, before I let you go, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask about the Black Panther himself, Luther Clay, your welterweight talent. I'm coming off the back of a career best win. We see him back in action this month, back on a Matchroom card. How is Luther? How's his preparation going for his bout against Hewitt?
Luther Clay is in good shape, fit and ready to go on 19th of December at York Hall against Freddie Hewitt. As I said, Freddie Hewitt, how do you pronounce? Freddie Hewitt or Freddie Hewitt? Freddie Hewitt, both African warriors, both die hard, both Zulu warriors, man. I'm really looking forward. There's no losers or winners on that fight. Boxing wins on that fight. I know. I'm supporting my boy. I'm backing him up. I know Black Panther is coming. But Freddie, good luck to you as well. It's a great fight. By the way, Luther is number 15 at the WBO. Kiewit is number 14 at the WBO. The winner progresses to top 10 and become a real contender for the voluntary WBO welterweight world challenger, which is something for me great to work on. And I'm hoping this is my boy Luther Clay who's going through.
British title, would that come before any talk? I mean, I know that you're kind of doing your due diligence in the sense that you have to look ahead for several fights. But the British title, Chris Jenkins just retained the British welterweight title on a cut by a technical draw, I believe, or no contest. I can't remember. It's very tired. Is that going to be a realistic target for him in 2020? I know the Conor Benn fight is something that's been discussed as well.
I just had a dinner with Robert Smith, the commissioner from the British Boxing Board of Control, and I gave him a suggestion. I said, Rob, there are some great fighters residing in the UK who are not licensed with the British Boxing Board of Control. Luther Clay is one of them. Luther Clay is licensed with Lithuanian Professional Boxing League because he had a girlfriend at the time in Lithuania, and he had some amateur fights in Lithuania because he's been loyal, and he turned pro in Vilnius. So Luther Clay, and I said, Rob, why don't we want to do British Open like in tennis? That foreign fighters or people who are not licensed with the British Boxing Board of Control by residing in the UK can fight for the title. He said, yeah, it's an interesting idea. Then Luther can fight for the British title. Otherwise, he's not eligible because he is not licensed with the British Boxing Board of Control.
Is that something that you expect to change in the future?
Possibly, but I just want to leave it to him because it's his decision to make because he's a loyal guy and I don't want him to try to persuade, oh, come on. I love British Boxing Board of Control. I've got full promoters, managers and matchmakers pack. By the way, I just became a licensed British Boxing Board of Control manager. So all the young talent out there, if you want something to happen with your career, get my number and call me and I'll be there. Yeah? I leave it to Luther to decide. I love British Boxing Board of Control. This is my home, but I don't want to impose on my fighter and try to dictate him what he wants to do. Whenever he's comfortable, we're going to switch.
Okay, well, Al Siesta, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social, even if I was the 5th or 6th interview that you did this week.
You're my number one, you know that, man. Come on, let's be realistic. You know I've been doing medicals and all that stuff. That's why I couldn't do it. Brother, massive pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Number one channel for me.
Al Siesta, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you so much, my friend.